So today, Frank and I are going to do the Authortube Newbie Tag. So if you didn't watch my folding laundry and talking about writing video, I'm filming this one directly after finishing folding a bunch of laundry and hanging out with my crazy dog. But I figure even though I've been doing Authortube for a full year now, which is crazy that I've been doing Authortube an entire year, I've never done this tag, and I personally think that a year still makes me a newbie, and if it doesn't, oh well, I've never done the tag and I feel like doing it now. So there you have it. So I actually printed these out, but I never actually really looked at them. So let's go ahead and get right into the questions. Number one, how did you find out about Authortube? I was actually watching Authortube for a while before I even really realized that Authortube was a thing. I think it was when I first started getting the inklings of my story. I started looking up, videos on YouTube, and I think I found Jenna Moreci first, and then I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. She makes a bunch of videos about writing. And then I found Kristen Martin, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I found, oh, Frank, what did you do? And then it just kind of went from there, and I think when I really realized that this was like a huge community was when I watched a video where Kristen Martin did a collaboration with Kim Chance, or there was like this big video with a bunch of people, and then I was like, whoa, this is like a whole community. And I made my first video, I don't know, maybe a month after that. So yeah, so it was a while though. Like, I was watching just Jenna Moreci for like months before I realized that there was even one other person that did content like that. What genres do you write in? I hate talking about genres because it makes me feel really stupid, because I honestly can't tell you. I know that I'm writing this book is YA. I know that I personally would call this like a contemporary, but there's also some mystery elements to it. I really don't like talking genres because I feel like there's just so many, and I don't know where my book falls into that. I also don't only want to write novels. I do also want to write other stories. My next work in progress is a television script, and that I would say that's definitely not YA. That is like an adult comedy drama type show. Like the type of thing you'd see on like the CW. So that's what I write, both adult and YA. I think in the future most of the ideas that I come up with are more adult, but this one just happens to be YA. What is your preferred writing tense, point of view, and category of story? Meaning children's, YA, NA, adult, etc. So for writing tense, I write in past tense. Point of view, I do prefer third person. However, I'm 25,000 words into my work in progress, and I'm starting to get the inkling, like this feeling that I should be writing it in first person, which kind of scares me. But typically I prefer writing in third person. And category, I think I kind of answered this already. This one is a YA, but in the future I think I'm going to probably be writing more adult fiction. Number 4, are you a plotter, pantser, or plantser? I am a plantser. 100%. I do have like an outline that I'm rolling with, but I honestly don't even look at my outline, and I just keep going. I really need to get better about filling in more and like actually looking at my outline before I just keep going. But I'm definitely in the middle, and honestly I have an outline, but I think the reason I don't look at it is I'm really just focusing on the beats and just writing a bunch of crap until I feel like the beat is done, and then moving on to the next one, which is why my outline isn't really important to me, but I feel like I should look at it a little bit more than I do. Number 5, are you self-published, published, or yet to be published? Yet to be published. I am still working on my first book. What publishing company, literary agent, and or printing company are you represented by or use? If you're not yet published, what is your dream publishing house and or literary agent? I have no freaking idea. I mean, obviously some of my favorite books are by like Random House. So if I could be a Random House published author, that would be amazing. but I've not put that much thought into it, to be perfectly honest. I just want to write the book, and if you want to publish it, that's awesome. What Authortube related videos can we expect to find on your channel? So this is fun because this one I can answer a little bit better because I have been creating videos for about a year. I write somewhat vlogs. I do want to get much better at doing weekly vlogs because I love watching vlogs. I love when I film vlogs. I'm just really bad at doing check-ins every single day because I get so busy, and I also feel like my life is kind of boring. So for me, it's a lot of just chit chats. Like, I just filmed a video where I folded laundry and talked about writing. So I do a lot of like chit chats. I like coffee talks. I like just chatty, chill videos. I do a lot of tags just because I find them to be fun. I know some people don't like doing tags or seeing tags on channels, but I don't care. I like watching them and I like filming them because I think it's a great way to get to know each other better. And any video that I can do in which I drink coffee and talk about writing is good for me. So basically just a lot of coffee and talking is what you'll find on my videos. When did you start writing? I started writing, I can't even answer that. I was so young. I've always come up with stories, but I never really had a lot of follow through. But I know I was writing stories definitely in middle school, little stories throughout high school. I really started taking it seriously my senior year and wanting to do something in which I was a storyteller. Originally, the idea would be to go to film school because making films was always an idea and a passion of mine. And then in college, which I never got past community college though, is when I started writing more short stories. But this is the first full novel that I have tried to write. What was the first story you ever wrote? Oh man, you guys, I don't know. I really can't think of the first story that I ever wrote. I always would come up with little ideas, and I have a million little stories where I would start something, but I can't say that I can remember the first full, even short story that I wrote, because I know I was pretty young when I wrote it. I will say the first thing that I ever wrote that I took seriously was a short story. It was called Eternal Beauty. It was very weird and very twisted, but essentially it started out as an idea I had for a short film that I wanted to shoot as a silent film, in which it was shot completely in the point of view of the person kind of watching. So you never saw this person's face. It's kind of like right now I can see myself because I'm filming, but if I wasn't filming something, all I can see is my hands, my feet, my chest, my dog, but I can't see my face, and that's the point of view that you would be seeing everything in. And then I had to write a story for my English class, and I decided to just take this short film idea that I had and make that a short story. So essentially it was a story of this girl who lives in a very small town and basically hates everybody because she just thinks that everybody is boring and has just no life. And she wants to get out and go live in a big city where everything is vibrant and exciting. So, and everybody loves this other girl who they feel like is just absolutely perfect. She's beautiful, she's sweet, she's like the prom queen, she's got the perfect boyfriend, and everybody just dotes on her. And so this first girl absolutely hates her because she thinks she's boring and she has no depth and she's just shallow and stupid, and she just hates everything about her. Well, then one day she's walking through the forest. I think she was like going out there to like smoke or something and just be angsty, and she sees the perfect girl having sex with a married guy who is older, and all of a sudden she's super intrigued because she's like, whoa, this is not something that this perfect girl would be doing. What's going on here? And so she starts to follow her, and the more she follows her, the more she finds out that this perfect girl is not perfect at all. She's just completely screwed up. She does drugs, she drinks, she sleeps around, she's got all these hang-ups and issues. And it's like the more the first girl watches, the more she becomes like obsessed with the perfect girl, because she's not boring, and she has depth, and she has all these flaws, and she's all crazy. And so she starts to try to morph into her. So she dyes her hair, she starts painting her nails, she starts dressing more like the perfect girl, because she's just sinking into this crazy obsession. But what she doesn't realize is that because she's so obsessed, she also does not see how deep the perfect girl is getting into her issues. She doesn't see how depressed she is. So yes, it's a very dark, very twisted story. So yeah, I wrote that one like 15 years ago and never really did anything with it. What authors have inspired your writing the most? I don't know how to answer that, because my writing is so different, and I don't really like to say that I'm inspired by, you know, other writers, because I mostly used to just write classics. I will say though that Elizabeth Gilbert, I can't think of her name right now because I'm tired. The chick that did Eat, Pray, Love, she wrote a book, Big Magic, and that book was so inspirational to me in terms of helping me and inspiring me to want to write and to keep with my story, because Big Magic, if you have not read that book, you totally need to. And also Stephen King, not in a sense of like inspiring my writing style, but when I listened to the audiobook of like his book on writing, that was incredibly inspirational to me, and Save the Cat. So those three books, I would say, those inspired me as like in terms of wanting to write or how to improve my writing, and really giving me the inspiration to sit down and write. But I can't really say that there's a specific author that has inspired my writing style, because I don't really try to write like any other authors. Do you schedule your writing sessions, or simply get to writing whenever you can find the time? Whenever I can find the time, which I can almost never, ever, ever find the time. So definitely, I cannot schedule anything, but I do try really, really hard, and that is something that I need to get better at. And I talked about in my last video, is finding writing time and planning out and mapping out not only when I'm going to write, but how many words I'm going to write at every session. Do you type on a computer, typewriter, write everything out by hand, or use a blend of those? And where do you write in general? I definitely write on a computer. Sometimes I will handwrite things. When I first started working on this book, like 2 years ago, everything was handwritten. And then I started just typing it all out last year. And so I definitely work on a laptop, and I mostly write up here in my writing space. Sometimes I will write at work, just at my desk at work. I'll bring my computer with me, and sometimes I'll take it downstairs and write downstairs, but it's almost always at home. Very rarely do I go to a coffee shop or anything. I did that like one time recently, and I did love it, but I mostly don't have the time to go anywhere, so I just write when I can and here in the house. And last question, what are you most looking forward to now that you're a part of Authortube? So again, this is a cheat because I've been on Authortube for a year, but definitely the community, and I'm really excited to continue to grow as a writer because of the people that I meet here on Authortube. There are some of the best friends that I've had in a long time I've met here on Authortube, and I definitely, you know, consider them to be friends just as much as anybody that I talk to in my real life. And so the community, the support, the fact that I think personally that Authortube is the most loving community on YouTube, like at all. Like the beauty community is just, I can be screwed up. I think BookTube is incredibly like loving as well, but I have also heard of some like BookTube drama in the past. But I think that Authortube is just, it's like being wrapped up in a hug. With every person, I've never met anybody here on Authortube that is not just so supportive and so wonderful. Nobody gives each other crap. Nobody is here to like make you feel like you're not as good as them. Everybody is about supporting each other and motivating one another. And I think that that is the greatest thing for any writer, because writing can feel like very solitary. We get in the zone and we write our stories, and we typically do it with headphones in and our head down and just thinking of our characters. And those are the only people that we have around us, right? And it can be a very solitary experience. And having this community is amazing. And I am very excited to, one, be a part of it, and to continue to grow. So, in this community and make more and more writerly friends. So that has been the Authortube Newbie Tag. I obviously can't tag anybody because I don't know who's an Authortube newbie and also who has never done this video. So if you are just watching and you have been thinking about starting a channel for Authortube and you have not, do this tag. It's a lot of fun and it's a great experience and a great community, and I would love to get to know you. And also, if you already create Authortube content but you've never done this tag, like me, I don't care if you're a newbie or not, just do the tag and let me know you did it so I can go watch it. Anyways, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. So now go write some words and read a book, and I will catch you guys in the next one.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my mom. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to your mom.